All right, welcome. I assume you can hear the sound of my voice. If you can, maybe you could raise your hand. There we go. Danny can hear me. Cool. Any of you out there that, oh, never mind. I was going to start with a joke, If you believe in telekinesis, raise my hand. Apparently not. All right. So welcome. Today we're going to talk about optimizing your kvCore, well, setting up your kvCore website and how to get, eventually we're going to add to this conversation and how to do some more lead generation things. But the purpose of today's session is simply to have the website up and running, looking good, right? Looking as good as you and being a good representation of you. And one of the things I like to start with is the discussion of domains, right? You should be the master of your own domain. Is it possible? Now, what I mean by that is if you look up at the top of my website, you'll see I've been given a domain. It's actually technically a subdomain, but I've been given the domain from eXp Realty at no additional charge, a free domain. Isn't that really cool? And it's michaeldevlin.exprealty.com, right? It's the dot, anyhow, eXp Realty that makes this a subdomain. And there are some search engine benefits to having your own domain, but we're not going to spend too much time on that. So your options are, one, you can just go with the domain that eXp gives you, right? You can put that on your business cards, michaeldevlin.exprealty.com. You can put it in your Facebook page. You can put it everywhere, and it works. And when people click on it, they go to your webpage, right? Not easy peasy, right? The other thing you could do is register your own personal domain. So for example, if I type in michaeldevlin.com, which is a domain that I have registered from GoDaddy, notice it goes to the same site. Now, those of you that are in my group and my team, people that I've mentored, whatever, you'll notice in my launch document the things that I put together of all the things you need to do in order to get your real estate career going. One of the things I suggest is that you register a domain. Now, I've gone to the trouble not only of registering the domain, but I've upgraded it so that it works with Google. It's actually called Workplace. It used to be called G Suites. It costs $6 a month. But if you send an email to mdevlin@michaeldevlin.com, which is the same as that domain, it comes into my Gmail account. And when I hit reply, it says mdevlin@michaeldevlin.com. It doesn't say Gmail anymore. And there's a little bit of an advantage of that if you're dealing with people. I'm in Silicon Valley, right, where a lot of the people are more tech knowledgeable, right? And I see, and I'm not putting you down if this is you, but I see agents with AOL emails and Yahoo emails and Hotmail, and things like that, which is not really a professional system, right? So I registered the domain with GoDaddy. And if you register a domain, which you might start with yourname.com or something like that, don't buy any extras, don't buy websites, don't buy email, don't buy anything from GoDaddy other than the domain. And the reason that I suggest GoDaddy, I also register a lot of domains with Namecheap and a few others, but the others that are cheaper have zero customer service, right? And GoDaddy, if you don't know what you're doing, you can call them and they'll do it for you. So you could, and the advantage of registering michaeldevlin.com is, let's say I decided at some point I wanted a different website. I wanted to upgrade to a luxury website. I don't have to change my business cards. I don't have to change any of the links. I just change where the domain forwards to. Instead of forwarding it to my EXP domain, I would forward it to the new one. And then the only tip I'm going to give you regarding the domain and forwarding is do not use masking. Now, what masking would mean, if I had forwarded this domain with masking, what it would mean is that it would always say michaeldevlin.com. It wouldn't say michaeldevlin.exprealty.com. But what that's going to do is it's going to mess up some things. It'll mess up search engine optimization, but it also will mess up links. So for example, if I click on the widget that says multifamily, now up here, there's this really long, this is a link that links to my web page of all the multifamily properties. If I were masking the forward, it would still just say michaeldevlin.com, and that link would not work. So you might want to get your own domain, but you don't have to, right? You might want to get your own domain and then forward it to your EXP website, and do not forward with masking. Do not forward with masking. I use Google to buy the domain, but have it set up as a vanity domain. Very happy with how it works. Thank you, Nick. I was going to maybe mention that a little bit. There is a way in which you can, the first level, the baby step, kindergarten, is you register a domain and forward it. The next level is to actually embed essentially your domain into the website, which requires the cooperation of Inside Real Estate, who owns the kvCore system, and the payment of a fee. Technically, it's something called it's called a CNAME, and there's better SEO optimization, and it works better. I'm not that motivated to go that far, but if you're into it, you might want to go that far. And that would be a good time to talk about who's into it and who's not, right? So why do we have a website? Do you have to have a website to sell real estate? The answer is no. I know real estate agents who sell a lot of real estate and they don't really have a website. Why don't they have a website? How can you survive? Well, they primarily work with buyers. And if you primarily work with buyers, many of the buyers have heard of Zillow, right? They've heard of Redfin, they've heard of Realtor.com, they've heard of all those, and they may not need your website in order to find homes for sale, right? But then, so is it possible? And the answer is yes, for you to survive without one. So then that's level one, right? You don't need a website, right? All you need is people, and you can set up searches in the MLS and all that other kind of stuff. Level two is some people might want to check you out and see if you actually have a website. You might be judged if you do not have a website, or if your website, it has broken links and incomplete information, and it's obvious you haven't looked at it in a really long time. People are going to judge you, right? And so my goal for today is to simply cover that part, so that when people go to your website, they're not going to judge you as being somebody who doesn't have one or has a terrible one. Would assigning a tab within my LaurieDev.exp work the same? No. Well, you can assign a tab, but it isn't the same thing as having a website. So can you create, thank you, Laurie, for the question. Can you create websites without using the kvCore or EXP? The answer is absolutely yes, right? There's Squarespace, right, which is websites. Some of them are free. There's another one. There's a bunch of them, right? And you could buy a WordPress website. I have about 20 of them for different things. That's a different discussion. But you could create your own website and all of that stuff. Now, the thing about this website is what's called the IDX feed. And IDX means the ability for you to search for properties and display properties that are in your MLS. And yes, I know if you created your own, WordPress site, you can buy plugins, right, that would allow you to put a search widget. This is called, it's a search widget that you're looking at in the middle. You can pay for plugins that you can put in your site. You could buy the plugin and it'll give you HTML code, which you can embed in your site. The thing about the kvCore and doing this through EXP is that for no additional charge, and by the way, those plugins can cost between $50 to $100 a month, depending on how good of a plugin you want. You could be spending, a decent amount of money to just to have the plugin, whereas the kvCore website that you get at no additional charge with EXP already is IDX compatible. right? It also has the ability to create landing pages and squeeze pages, which we'll talk about in another class. And yes, I know I've got WordPress sites. I can get landing page plugins and all that, but why do it, right? You understand why? Why, right? So what's the value of you having the website? Number one, people might check to see if you have a website, right? And if you don't, they might judge you. And that's why you want to have one and you don't want it broken. Number two, people might be using your website to actually search for homes. I find that less of a possibility because of Zillow and things like that. Number three, you could use a website for customer service. And what I mean by that is if you want to know what your home is worth, you could fill out a form. If you want to see my list of vendors, you could fill out the form. If you want a connection to my lender, you could go to my website. And so there's some customer service elements of having a website. But when it comes to lead generation, and you just need to know that most real estate agent websites are not good at lead generation, right? What you're looking at on the screen is not good at lead generation. And because what it essentially is, it's a Swiss Army knife kind of a website. Are you a buyer? Come here. Are you a seller? Come here. Do you want to buy multifamily? Come to my website. You want to buy land, right? You want to buy land? Come to my website. You want to buy a condo? Come to my website, right? You want to find an open house? Come to my website. Well, the challenge with all of those different options is that it's kind of broad and it's very difficult to get search engine optimization when you're doing too many things at once, right? I remember agents that used to have weather widgets and all that kind of stuff, and it just confuses Google, right? It just confuses them because what is your website about? Traffic? Weather, real estate, condos, land, Google doesn't know, and so they might pass. So if you wanted to get search engine optimization for land, let's say, it would work a lot better if you had a website that was focused just on that, right? So as we go up, there are a lot of different things you can do with a website, but right now we want to have a website that functions and looks good, and you don't have to pay anything extra for. All right. So what I'm assuming, this is what it looks like when you log into kvCore. And for some reason, they still want to talk to me, but I don't want to talk to them anymore. They still want to log into kvCore. I'm getting a lot of weird emails. What we wanted, I'm assuming at this point, that you've already gone through my video or somebody else's on how to set up your profile, because we're not going to be doing that. And what we want to do is go to where it says web and IDX. Now I'm going to go, I hope, hopefully slow enough that if you wanted to follow along, you could. I'm recording this. And if you send me $5, I'll send you the link. Actually, it will probably be on my YouTube channel in a day or two. And what you might want to do is to play it slowly, stopping where you need to until you get everything done. So we're going to go to Website Manager. Now, first of all, it talks about that's the domain, right? And if you don't know what your domain is, that's your domain. You can copy and paste it. You could have multiple domains. I'm not going to get into WordPress plugins and things like that. Some years ago, I was charging people to help them set up their WordPress site. I don't want to deal with that anymore. Don't have the time. And what we're going to do, first of all, we could just click on some of these common things over on the right. But what we're going to do, because we want to be thorough, we're going to click on Edit Settings. Now, up here in the top right, where it says Website Settings, that would take us to the same thing, but we're going to click on Settings. Then we're going to talk about it. The first thing is you're going to see there are two templates. I don't know why, because the second one doesn't really work, right? You don't want to change it. Right? Haven't you always wanted to be the hero? this is your chance, right? So you're going to leave it as the hero website. I'm saying that some of the other one, Foundation, is an older architecture, and some of the things we're going to do don't work. Template homepage widgets. Now, what this is talking about is, what do the widgets look like? And if you're wondering what a widget is, see where it says multifamily, houses, land, and condos, those are all widgets. Now, we could view examples, but you probably want to leave it standard. And I'll show you why. Let's say you're saying, well, I don't want to be standard. I want to be modern. Okay, all right, fine. And now, no, it says it's going to change any custom widget code. We haven't done this. If you've customized your site, like one of the people is, if you put in custom CSS, HTML, custom stuff in your site, you want to be very careful, right? You need to have a backup. But I haven't done any of that because I'm too lazy. I mean, I got other things to do, so I haven't bothered to do that. So I'm changing it to modern, and I'm going to, yes, I know I already did that. So what did that do, right? Now I'm going to go back to my website. I'm going to refresh. And notice it says, see, more modern, thinking of selling, right? He's thinking very hard, looking to purchase, looks like they could use a bigger house, get pre-approved. All right, now a different conversation is going to be, are you connected to a lender? And I'm not just talking peripherally, but have you got your favorite lender connected into kvCore? And if the answer is no, then this isn't going to work, because if somebody clicks on it, now I've actually done it, but it actually goes to my lender. We're going to have to work on getting her picture and other things. And then there's a link to the blog. And let's say you're saying, I don't even know what a blog is, and I haven't blogged anything. So if you don't have a lender and you're not blogging, you do not want to use that layout for the widgets. Luxury, boy, I would love to sell luxury properties. What does that look like? So we choose luxury, we go back, what is my home worth? Is that luxury? Well, anyhow, in Silicon Valley, that's an expensive house. Meet the team, you might be saying, well, I don't have a team. So it's just going to go to your agent profile, get pre-approved again. I don't have a lender. So unless you have a team or a lender, you don't want to do luxury. Modern, side by side, yeah, we'll see what that looks like. We're going to refresh. And once we refresh, your search starts here. What's my home worth? That's all good. Instant listing alerts. Get pre-approved again. Oh, but I don't have a lender that I've set up. So you understand why I'm saying, for most of you, standard is what we want. Now, notice the the button I've moved to the right, use full width custom area. Right. Now, what that means, and you'll see once I refresh, I get back to my widgets. Notice how the widgets go all the way across, right? Now, if I didn't do that, if I did not select use full width and I went to save, and I'm going to go back, now you're going to notice white space, right? See how it's all moved in. I prefer it to go all the way across. If you prefer the white space, go for it. Template theme. You can spend some time on this, right? You look at all the different choices. You could say, well, I'm in the San Jose area. I kind of like teal, right? And so you could just, I forget even which one I had. I don't know. But let's just say you want to do teal, and you select it and you go back. It's going to change the color scheme, right? The blue goes with my logo, which is why I was doing that, although which blue? But you could spend some time doing this, right? You understand, you could I know what some of you are like. You're going to choose every color and then look at it, right? I know that. I know that. All right. You can, the background image. Now, I've only selected a couple of them. If you go through, you could say, well, that one looks okay too, and that one looks okay, and I like that one. And you can pick as many as you would like. What it does by picking these different images is as people come to your website, let's just pick a few and save. As people come to the website, come on. Come on. It's once, I may have to do it a couple of times. Notice each time I refresh, that's kind of a big hand. Every time I refresh, the picture changes, right? The picture changes. How do you change the DRE number on the web page? It shows a number that is not mine. I'm going to get very good question, Monica, and I intend to cover that because you'll notice, right, Monica, that it does not appear on mine. But my web page does have my DRE number at the bottom. And for no additional charge, I'm going to show you how to get rid of the office DRE number, which is not required by either the broker in California or the California Department of Real Estate. Right? What does the Department of Real Estate in California require that you have on your webpage? Your name, you identify the broker you work for, and your DRE number, right? And I'm going to show you how to fix all that. It's all coming. It's coming. All right. Now, let's just say you don't like any of these pictures, right? And I've met many people who said, I don't like any of these pictures. And so we're going to go through and, you say, I'm not even near the beach, I don't like the house there. I don't want that. The hand is too big, right? But you can go through and pick out the ones you want, or I don't know, what happens if I get rid of all the pictures? I'm not really too sure. I guess I'm going to find out. What happens if you don't have any pictures? Well, it found something. I don't know where it got that from, but maybe there is one still checked that I forgot about. I guess that may be just their default. What are your other options? You could go take a picture. You could find another picture that you like better. Now, there are three kinds of pictures that real estate agents generally put on websites, kind of four, but let's see. One is geography. So if I were in Santa Cruz and I wanted my website to reflect Santa Cruz, I might have pictures of Santa Cruz, right? In LA, pictures of LA, in Silicon Valley, you get the idea. Number two, the exterior view of homes, right? So I could have pictures of the outside of homes that look like homes in my area. That's number two. Number three, the inside of homes. The inside of homes. And number four, there's really four, is pictures of people moving, just happy families and all that sort of stuff. Where would you find these pictures? Now, I saw a hand go up. Is there a question, Lori, or is that a question, or is that just a hand going up? All right. I'm going to assume it was just a hand going up, unless you say, I want to talk, something like that. All right. How would you find pictures that you could use for free? Real estate agents email me things like that, and I usually copy what they send to me, and I send it back to them. So this is a website called Pixabay. Free images, royalty free. Wow. So I'm going to talk about homes, right? Let's just see. I haven't looked. Here are, now usually these are how these places monetize it, is iStock and Adobe and some of the other Shutterstock oftentimes have better looking pictures that you could pay for. But all of these pictures down here, and this one is, that one of the blue house has been used way too much. But all of these pictures down here are pictures that you would not have to pay for. I particularly kind of like that one, but it doesn't really match my area. So let's say I like that picture, right? I like that picture. And so I'm going to click on free download, and they give us what the dimensions are. That one is actually fairly close. I am a robot motorcycles. That looks like one, that looks like one, that looks like one. And I hope I got them all, and cool. And so it's going to let me download the picture, and I'm going to go, oops, back here. And what I'm going to do is, and here, let me see a question. What would you recommend if you do a mix of commercial and residential? I'm going to show you how you can add that, but I do a variety of commercial and residential. Again, we're trying to be the Swiss Army knife, and Ken has a helpful suggestion where you can steal the pictures from vendors, lenders, title companies, and whatever. All right, so what I wanted to do, oops, if we scroll down, for most of you, why don't we just use the pictures they have? But for those of you that are really into this, right, I hope you saw what I did. I clicked on upload your own picture, right? There it is. And I'm going to then click on this little arrow button, right? And I'm going to, and now that picture has been, now let's say you say, well, I want more than one picture. This is another website that this is Unsplash. And there are other pictures, right? If you're thinking that, does this look like, now you see what they got me, because that was the nicest ones you have to pay for, right? But I don't want that one. How about, I already have a kitchen. How about this one here? Not a kitchen, I download for free. I put it in the same spot. What is the name of the web? Unsplash Pixels. I'll go through it. If you were to ask that which knows the name, that which knows the answers to all questions, free images, how about that? And here we go. Shutterstock wants you to pay for them. iStock Photo wants you to pay for them. That's an ad, usually free images. Unsplash and Pixabay are the ones I'm using. There's also Pexels. There's also freeimages.com. There's free range stock, anyhow, if you seek, you shall find. And so let's just see what's happened on my website. Come on, there it is. There's the picture. So let's say I want to add a second picture, right? There we go. I'm going to upload it. I've added a second picture. And what else would I like? How about a nice family? Oops, how about a happy family? Family home. That sounds interesting. Now, again, the ones at the top that always look better are, you have to pay for, right? So here is, it looks like a couple, yeah, could easily be in my area. They're in their nice little house. I'm going to download that. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click on this. Do you understand? You could spend a lot of time doing this, right? You could spend a lot of time. You could just select some of the ones they have. Now, when we go back and we refresh, ta-da, there's the inside of the house. There's that's the kitchen. It's going to take a moment maybe for the other one to come around. I don't know. It hasn't come around yet. Not too sure why, but I'm not going to spend all day on it, didn't I? Anyhow, so I thought for sure that one was added. Let me just try one more time. There we go. And I don't like that it's put my face over his face. So I might, when I go up here, I'm going to unselect that one, unselect that one, and that's not what I want. I want to unselect that one and select those two. And because I just don't want to spend all day doing this, I'm going to go down and I'm just going to pick out here. There's a family. All right, save. Right. And so now you just have, I like to look at it to make sure it doesn't look, kind of weird. All right. So you can upload your own images. You could use the one they gave you. Right. You could take your own pictures. Right. Just go for it. Do you have a secondary logo? I do. I've got a lot of questions coming in. Can you click where you go to into edit? What is that? I did the web. So can you show where you click to go into edit? Not exactly sure what that question is. If I want to include a picture or exclude a picture, I simply check the box. So every box I check next to the background images is going to be a image that will be cycled through as people come to my website, right? And sometimes it takes a moment before it cycles through, but that's how I change what the picture is, and I would upload it. Where do we go to edit the website? I assume you've just started. You go today, you go to website manager, and then once we're in website manager, you click on edit settings here or edit settings there. One of those two. All right. All right. So do you have a logo? You can have one. Now, the California Department of Real Estate, and I know that not all of you may be from California, but I think almost all of you are, the California Department of Real Estate has some rules about team names and logos and things like that. Essentially, they're cool as long as you're using your surname, right? You don't have to just use your surname, but I could have the Devlin Real Estate Group. I can have the Michael Devlin Group. I can have things like that. They like group and team and things like that. They like that. They being the Department of Real Estate. EXP doesn't really have any rules against doing this as long as you're complying with the California Department of Real Estate rules. What is the best picture resolution for the site? All right, if we looked at this, where it says, I think it's 1960. I don't know right off the top of my head. Most of the pictures that come with the site are relatively low resolution. If you have too high of a resolution photo, it makes the website lag when it loads, right? And so my suggestion is just take a look. Now, all the ones I've ever gotten from Pixabay and Unsplash, whatever, you can see that looks fairly clear. In fact, that actually looks better than some of the ones that come with kvCore. There is a suggestion, but I do not know what it is off the top of my head. I don't, because, I just don't. All right, if you have a logo, you can upload your logo, right? Secondary logo, I've already uploaded it. You can see there it is next to the EXP logo. I'm hiding the resources page. And if I didn't hide the resources page, the resources is not really a useful thing in my view. It takes a while for it to come up. So I'm just saying I hide the resources page. If I want to add something, I would create a custom page, which will probably be a different class. Given the way we're going, it might be next time. The millions mapped is the kvCore mobile app. I don't notice I hid that. So people aren't downloading my kvCore mobile app. And the reason I do that is that it's not that great of an app and it's not being upgraded or they're not doing stuff with it. kvCore isn't. So it's sort of out of date. And the kvCore website is a mobile responsive website. And therefore, it looks just fine by itself on a phone And so I don't want people to download the app because the app isn't that great and they could use my website. The WCAG is has to do with accessibility guidelines, website something accessibility guidelines. I would just leave that. We don't want to hide it. It's just there. I also don't want to hide the print flyer button. And if you're wondering what is the print flyer button, if I click on houses, and here's a nice, oops, and how about that? No, I didn't really want to get it. There we go. It lets me in eventually. Let me view details. I'm going to get to how that setting is set. Notice one of my choices is print a flyer. And I don't see any reason to deny somebody who's old and wants a printed flyer to print a flyer, right? And so there it is, and you know, whatever. But I'm going to leave that. So use limited listing labels. Keep that to the left. You don't want to use limited listing labels. What that does is it shortens the label for the listing. Now, in my particular neighborhood, this doesn't really matter one way or the other. But let's say you're in an area where beachfront, lakefront, golf, something next to a golf course, are things, right, where people might be searching for. If you use limited listing labels, that information may not show up, right? And so I just leave it, even though I'm not in a particular, where there's not a lot of lakefront homes where I am. Mandate phone. Now, notice they've said you might not want to do that. And the reason that kvCore says that is that if you mandate the phone, fewer people are going to search on your website. Now, this is all up to you. There's some agents that are saying, why should I let them look at any listings if they won't give me their phone number? Great, because obviously they have no other options than your website to look at homes. I mean, how do you feel? You go to a website and you are immediately, you know, hit with, give us your information or you can't go any further. I usually just find another website that does the same thing that isn't going to make me do that. Force lead registration. Now, normal means that they are prompted after one property view, prompted, but they do not have to register. Right now, you can require registration after 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. You could say, I don't even want to ask them. But normal is once they've clicked on a view to ask them, you can prompt it, but not require. People can just click away and they can keep going. Why not be normal? I've always wanted to be normal, right? And they don't have to register, but you know, they can. Website title. I got way too many of these open. What is that? So, and by the way, if I click on my logo, it takes me right back to the middle. This is the website title, right? Now, this realtor and real estate consultant, that comes from my profile, where it allows me to put in how I want to be called. And this is the website title. What are your choices? I just today picked Silicon Valley real estate. Why not? There's some logic if you're focused on Silicon Valley or wherever you're focused to say that in your title. Some agents are like, I don't want to do that because what if somebody is not in Silicon Valley? Then they're not going to call me. You know, so you could say California real estate, but then what if they want to buy in Arizona? I'd like to have the referral, put it in US real estate, but we have offices in other countries. Maybe somebody is interested in Canada. If I say they want, you know, I mean, at some point, you know, you got to just stop, right? So you can put in whatever you want. You could say Silicon Valley homes for sale. You could say whatever turns you on. but that's what I put for my website title. Right. And that doesn't show up because of something I've clicked on later, which I'm going to show you. Right, I'll show you, and I can make that show up again. Meta descriptions. What's a meta description? If you do a search in Google and they show you a website and then there's like a little sentence next to the website, that's the meta description. Now I've put find homes for sale in Silicon Valley at eXp Realty, right? Because it's got Silicon Valley and it's got homes for sale and it has eXp Realty, which are all kind of search terms. Now, the issue you're going to find if you ever look at some of the programs that analyze what people are searching for, homes, Silicon Valley homes is not a very high search result. In my area, the #1 search result would be San Jose homes. Why? Because San Jose is by far the biggest city. Not that many people are searching Silicon Valley homes. But if I say San Jose homes, well, the last home I sold was in Saratoga, and the one before that was in Mountain View. And then there was, you're like, well, I sell homes not in San Jose. I don't want it to just say San Jose, so I put in Silicon Valley. Why not? Ask for the unit is useful if you're selling townhomes and condos. And some people are in areas where they don't have condos and townhomes very much, and so unit number isn't important. Recruit text, this is, I think, just the default setting. I'm not really going to go through with this. Later in the series, as we're fleshing this out, I'm going to talk about creating a recruit page, particularly if you're in my organization. I'd like you to do that. The custom header, this is a Facebook pixel code, which means if somebody goes to my website, I'm going to be stalking them, following them around. And on Facebook, when they go to Facebook, they're going to see my stuff. I'm not going to get into how to do that. I actually work with a company and they did that. I don't do anything with the custom body. The custom footer. So Monica wants her DRE number, I would assume, and I've put my name, because remember, what does the Department of Real Estate in California want? They want the name of the broker. That's hardwired in. You can't even remove that if you wanted to. #2, your name and your DRE number, so I put it in there, and then that appears on my, it appears on my website. And down, if you want to see, if you scroll all the way down, there it is, right? There it is. Custom chat widget. Some of you might be impressed that down in the bottom right, it says, hi, how can we help you? And there's a chat widget. Now, you might want to create a Facebook business page. I have one, Michael Devlin Group. Notice I put my DRE number in it. I probably should also put in eXp Realty, but I don't know. I'll think about that. I do have it in here in the description, but the Department of Real Estate is keen that I do that. And let's say you wanted to be able to chat with people on your website on Facebook, right? Which is sort of where we're going. So if you have a Facebook business page and you log in, over on the left, you're going to see settings. And then in settings, you're going to see messaging. And then in messaging, you're going to see add messenger to your website. And if you click on get started, Facebook is going to show you how to do it. And here, what I just did is I went to this, customize your chat plugin. Notice it says, hi, how can we help you? You could change that. I could say, talk to Mike, or I want to talk to you, I'm lonely, chat with me, whatever you want to do, right? And then here are the different ways to make it look, right? If you don't like that, that's sort of a messenger icon. If you like that icon, whatever, you can do all that, right? And then once you're done, Now, where is it? I've already connected it to my site. Notice it says up here, your website domain. Notice I've already done that. So I've already connected it, and it will give me the code. Where's the code? How long has it been since I've done this? Not very long. But anyhow, the code is here someplace. Set up, chat plugin, set up. Oh, here we go. So I click on setup. I'd forgotten where I put it. What language do you want? I'm going to stick with English. What website do you want? Here's the code. You copy that code. You go back here. You paste in the code. You save it. You go back to your website. And it's going to look pretty much the same, I think. Let's see, I tried to change how it looked. It takes sometimes a second. Notice it says, see, it just says chat. And you're welcome to play with this and pick out the one you want. Kamal, I see you've raised your hand. Do you have a question, or are you just saying hello? All right, not sure, not sure. All right, so I'm, and there are lots of ways of figuring how to do this. Well, Facebook will walk you through it. The Facebook ID for chat, I put it in there. I don't think it really does anything. Additional addresses, don't put anything in here unless you've gotten a branch location approved by the California EXP broker. And by the way, I'm not interested in addresses so much because I sell real estate in San Leandro last year, which for those of you that don't know is not really close to the city I'm in right now. The value of being with a cloud-based brokerage is that I'm not necessarily limited. The CCPA contact phone number, I should really put in my assistant's phone number, but nobody ever calls me. That has to do with website compliance, whether or not I'm stealing people's information and selling it to people. I'm not going to change that. Just put in a phone number, put in your email address. There's a video on how to do it. If I had Zillow testimonials, I would click on this and put them in there. I'm not going to do that. If you don't have them, don't do it either. Zillow reviews, if you don't, and by the way, if you add that, it's going to, well, I'm not going to do this now, right? That's a totally different thing. You can connect, you all probably should go to Zillow and create a free profile. It doesn't work. What does it? Nick, what is the best? The Zillow testimonials doesn't connect yet. Well, I've heard that. So, and you can manually put in your own testimonials, but I'm not going to go there, right? So it wouldn't hurt for you to have your own Zillow profile. Doesn't cost anything. Why not? Other things, background video. Okay, background video. So what I've done is, this is a video. Look at my search, San Jose, California drone. Right, and what I've done, and by the way, you should probably ask them, is it okay if I use your video on my website? Right? I found most of the time people say, sure, please, you know, there's no way of really giving them credit, but if I click on share, you see this part here after the youtube.be/, right? If I copy that, that's the video ID. That's the video ID. Is there access to the replay of this webinar? Yes, it'll be on my YouTube channel. If you're in my coaching group, it'll be linked inside the document library. So if I put that in and I click on save, now this slows down the loading a little bit of the site, but you'll see what I mean. How come this always takes longer than I thought? See, so it's moving, right? And there's a little drone video of San Jose. I'm probably going to not do that. I don't want to hide the chat widget. I do want to use full width custom area. And what that means is that all of the website will take up the whole width. I don't want to use the black color for header. And if you're wondering why not, maybe I do, right? If I do that, you're going to see that if I go on and do, let's say, a search, come on, see how it's black, right? And I don't like the way that looks, right? And so I don't use that. And if I don't use that, then it looks like that, right? But each to his own. Use the primary color for header. I don't do that. I just I like the white background. You can click on those. Hide. Monica was wondering, how about that name of the broker on her website? So if I unclick this and I go back to my homepage, notice it says eXp Realty of California, Inc., CalDRE number. That is more than what the California Department of Real Estate requires. The California Department of Real Estate does not require your broker's DRE number. They require your DRE number. All right, and we've already said in several places that we work at eXp Realty. For example, at the bottom of the web page, it says eXp. It already has that information, right? Which is more than what the Department of Real Estate wants, but it's what eXp wants. So if you click on hide the name, then what happens, Monica, is that goes away and something else goes in. And what goes in is it's gone, right? Now, if you put your DRE number in the footer, you have complied. If you put your DRE number in the footer, you've complied with the California Department of Real Estate requirements, which is pretty much all I want to do. All right. Now, there is, let me get to it. Use square agent cover photo instead of the round one. I like the round one. Hide agent image. I know I should because, I mean, if, you might, but you probably look better. So you don't want to do it. I use the large background image because it takes up all the space and it looks better. All right. Custom navigation. What we're talking about, it says search, sell, agent, real estate news, real estate school. For those of you who don't know, I have a real estate school. So if you know anybody who's interested in a rewarding, it's hard for me to say that, a rewarding, exciting career in real estate, I'm just thought I would let you know. Now, you could change this. You could say search for homes, right? You could say find your dream home, or dream home found here, whatever. I'm just, going to leave it that way. You could, under the sell label, you could say your home value, right? And that would be, you could do that, but I'm just going to say sell. Finance, this would be if you've hooked up with a lender. Need money, right? Get pre-approved, right? Get a loan. You get what I'm saying, right? But we could just leave it as finance. And if you don't have a lender, you're not going to want to show it. The resources tab I've already taken off, but because I don't use it. The agent's label, I forget what its default was, but I just picked agent. And what that does is under agent, it has profile, our listings, and we're hiring. All right. The we're hiring label says we're hiring. It could say, the future of real estate or join the whatever. Why not? The hiring link, all of you, if you're at eXp, and I probably already have one of these, has a link for your own, we're EXP site. I actually am creating my own custom one. It's usually yourname.exprealtycareers.com. I put mine in there. Custom pages for navigation, right? And I've selected a couple of them. These are things that I have added. We're not going to do custom pages today because we're not going to have time. Select custom categories. I don't add them. I've hid the resource tab. I've hid the finance tab because I want Jody's picture and I want some more information. I didn't hide the we're hiring link. Listing carousels, my listings, just listed, just reduce. I didn't make any changes to that. If you don't know what Google Analytics is, it's a way for Google to let you know where people are coming to for your website. And getting a Google Analytics code is a totally another conversation. If you asked Google, they would probably explain it. Now, remember where it says Silicon Valley real estate, you're into that? So I've got a custom tag. Now, if I were to delete that and just click on save, right? Notice it says use agent information for tagline. So what that does is that instead of saying Silicon Valley real estate, and some of you might like it, it's got my phone number, my email, and my DRE number. Should I have another website for commercial deal? Well, I'm running out of time to get into commercial, but what we could do, and the answer is probably yes. So many commercial clients don't want you to be doing residential and commercial. At a certain level of commercial, I'm a commercial agent. I closed several commercial transactions. I've been approved by the California broker to mentor and help agents with commercial transactions. I was the commercial mentor at Keller Williams Cupertino. And generally, you would want a commercial site to be separate, but you could make it into one site. You could make it into one site. And the way you would do that is by adding widgets. So what that would mean, we've got houses and multifamily and land and condos. We could have widgets for commercial real estate, but you also could get another site. And by the way, EXP, kvCore would sell you one, right? But that's getting into widgets. I may not have time to do all that today, but I'm going to keep going. We'll do more of these next week. We'll finish it. You could just say, I want everything. So I maybe don't like rentals, but why not let people search for them on my website? I may not like to do mobile homes, but why not let people search for them on my website, right? I mean, why not? And so if you click on it, I want them to see pending properties and contingent properties. I want them to see everything that my MLS has to deliver. You could check them all. And if you're like, I don't want anybody asking me about mobile homes or commercial leases or any of that kind of, by the way, if it's a commercial one, you could refer it to me, right? I'd be willing to pay a referral fee. Coverage areas only, don't click that because it only shows counties that you've listed. And if there's a listing that I'm in Santa Clara County, which isn't very far from San Mateo County, which isn't very far, I'm not very far from Alameda County, and I've sold property in Monterey County, and I sold property in Santa Cruz County, and I'm not fussy, right? And so I don't want my MLS feed to be restricted. I would click on the don't scrub areas, filter area list. Now, what that does is if somebody was searching for something and let's say the agent, let's say somebody is searching for Blossom Valley, which is an MLS area in my MLS, but an agent for some reason had put in a keyword that was misspelled or something like that. Basically, this allows the program to kind of figure out what they're doing and make a guess. Hide, do not advertise, don't do that. Hide, I don't do that. Use polygons, we're not going to do that. How do we want people to be able to see listings when they do a search? And the two big choices are either price range, top to bottom, or days on website, right? That's up to you. I like the fresh ones first, so I put it there. I like it to be a map, and then extra search options. So anything your MLS allows. So for example, the school come up even, let me see. No. So this is what our MLS allows. This is called IDX. And so I've gone and added age and building area and city and cooling and county and dining room and fireplace, yes or no, and full baths and HOA fee and half baths and lot acres and lot size and number of garage spaces and pools and property tax and restrictions. Restrictions would mean age restrictions, special listing conditions would be probates and things like that. Total bedrooms, whether or not it has a view. Nobody has a view in my area. Virtual tour, does it have one? Whatever, right? And so you might want to go through and look at the list. And what this does is that if somebody goes up here and they do a search, we're going to be giving them, when they scroll down here to filters, more choices, right? We're going to be giving them more choices. Other would include commercial, income, and land. Right? It's only going to show me those icons. But notice now I've got year built and acreage, and I've got all these other things that I've just been adding stuff, and they could select the county that they wanted, and I've just added it, right? Because, you know, I don't have anything else to do. All right, now we've hit an hour, which may or may not be enough for you. Let me do one more thing. And then next week, I promise I'll get into creating some of the lead generation pages and things like that. But if you guys can hang on for 1 minute or two, I want to cover one more thing. Is that okay? I guess you could leave if you felt like it. But I will, we are not done. Right, let's just say we are not done, but there's one thing you could do that will make your website look cooler. And what that has to do is widgets. Now, right now, I don't have homepage widgets. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all these. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Okay, we're just going to clear them. Right, come on. Now, when I clear website, yes, I want to do that. All right. So apparently I've already cleared them. Of the ones that are here, now the financing, remember I showed you some of those widget layouts where it says, you know, get a loan. You need money to buy a house, right? And then they talk to your favorite loan agent. How about open house? How about what is your home worth? How about just listed? Now, the other one over here that sometimes I think is a useful thing, I did just listed, there's one that's called default property type. Oops, and I'm going to add that. There we go. And then I'm going to add it again. And then we're going to go back and we're going to, and it's still in the search mode. So it's going to take a second. Click on my logo. Bam. Open houses. What's my home worth? Just listed. Now, notice it didn't put the other one in, which I didn't like. So let me try this again. And sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get where we want to be. Well, maybe I don't like that one. Here, let me, I'm going to clear. Yes, I know. If you don't do an even number, it doesn't look as well. So I'm just going to add what is my home worth, and I'm going to add open house, right? I think I can put in 3 without it looking weird. Now, it still looks weird, right? Because it's got, now the other one that I want to do Oh, that was the default property type. Now I know what I was doing. All right. So the default property type is the one that says homes, condos, land, all of that sort of stuff. All right. And so I'm not going to spend a lot of time playing on this, but you can see I probably would rather have one more just so it all looks good. There's blog posts. Don't do it if you don't have them. Financing. This will lead to your manual or pocket listings. I don't have any. Meet the team. Financing. Why don't I do that? Why not? All right. But I generally want to keep it so that there's an even number. Here, I already have it. Recruit default widget. Append. Go there. Hit on it. All right. And so it takes a moment for it to, it takes a moment. And it put it down at the bottom. All right. So I would have to work on that. But there's, if I do enough here, I'm just going to do the two because, by the way, very few people fill out the home worth widget and end up selling their house. I'm just sharing that little tidbit with you. So I'm going to, of the two, do I want to do just listed? I'm going to do add and add. At least by the time we're done, you'll know how to do this part. All right. Now, the other thing next week, right? Say now it looks, you know, there's, and I didn't add all the others. All right. That's, you want to add the property default widget. All right. You want to add that one in my humble view. And that one is already optimized. So here it is, open houses, what's my home worth, multifamily, houses, land, condos. Doesn't that look just beautiful? Now, next week, still for no additional charge, although I accept donations. Next week, what I'm going to show you how to do is how to create special pages like this, where you can find market areas, market statistics, and things like that. And that is something that you could share and use it for marketing. I'm also going to show you how to create a bunch of custom pages, including custom market, different from this, but market reports that can be done by MLS area, can be done by city, it can be done by zip code, and how we're going to create them and how to add them to your navigation, and then how to use those links in custom pages, market value pages, and how to use that in marketing to real estate agents, right? Isn't this kind of cool? Most popular is the most expensive. Welcome to my area. The least expensive is 1,650,000 in Almaden. Yeah. That's the area I'm in, right? Cheap homes. All right, I hope you've had enough to get started. This will be on my YouTube channel, Upthink Real Estate. If you like my videos, you ought to subscribe to my channel. You ought to click on the blue bar, you know, little blue bell, right? So that you're notified. And if you are interested, I coach agents, I mentor agents, I have a production team with agents all over the state. And if you're interested in finding out how I could help you sell more real estate, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you. That's all I've got for today, guys. Thank you all for joining. Bye. Stay safe out there.